If you've ever visited Crested Butte and thought, I wish someone had told me that before I got here, this video is for you. And if you're thinking about moving here, then this video is definitely for you. Because there's the Crested Butte that shows up in travel magazines and Instagram reels. And then there's the Crested Butte that locals actually live in. And then there's the gap between those two things. And that's where I'm trying to take you today. It was 23 years ago this very weekend, Memorial Day weekend, when I rolled into town with our packed up U-Haul with my then boyfriend, my now husband of 20 years. And today I'm gonna share these things that take most newcomers months, sometimes even years to figure out on their own. Stick around to the very end because I saved one of my personal favorites for last. Hi, I'm Heather Woodward with Living in Crested Butte, Colorado, and if you've been thinking about moving to Crested Butte, Gunnison, or any of the surrounding areas, go ahead and subscribe below so that you can be the first to learn about the ins and the outs of the area, including the current real estate market. I love helping people just like you, so whether you're moving here in 60 days or 6 months from now, you're moving across the world, across the country, or just up and down the valley, feel free to give me a call, text, or an email. All of my contact information is in the description below, and I'd love to make your move exactly the way you want it to be. All right, number one, the free bus is actually fantastic. Most visitors don't even know this exists. And a lot of newcomers don't figure this out until their second season. I'm not just talking about the bus that runs from Crested Butte to Mount Crested Butte. I'm talking about the RTA that runs between the towns of Crested Butte, Mount Crested Butte, Gunnison, and the surrounding neighborhoods. It stops all along 135. In the winter, this is a game changer because parking up in the mountain can be a real headache, especially on powder days and especially when it's very busy. Locals that hop on the bus skip the parking scramble and they show up fresh and ready to ski. So if you live anywhere near a stop or anywhere that you can park and ride and get to the mountain without really having to touch your car or drive very far, that's really huge. Number two is we drive to Gunnison for the big grocery run. There's Clark's Market in Crested Butte, and that is great, but if you're looking for a real grocery haul, stocking up the kitchen, buying in bulk, or just looking for a little bit more variety, Gunnison is where the locals go. This is 30 minutes down valley. There's a city market, a natural grocers, and a Safeway there. You've got more options overall. Most locals get in this rhythm of grabbing the quick stuff in Crested Butte and doing the bigger runs in Gunnison. Number three, shoulder seasons are real, so plan for them. There are 2 months that I want you to remember, and that is April and November. Crested Butte has 2 busy seasons, and that's winter and summer, and 2 shoulder seasons in between where things get genuinely slow. Restaurants are gonna close or they're gonna cut their hours to give their staff a much needed break. Town feels quieter in a way that can catch newcomers off guard, and I know it did me when I first moved here. For locals, that shoulder season is really actually wonderful. The crowds are gone, it's peaceful, and it's a good time to travel if you can. But if you're moving here expecting a town that's always buzzing, you need to know this. You need to budget for it as well and plan around it, and honestly, you're gonna love it. Number four, the Wildflowers peak in mid-July, and you don't wanna miss that. There's a caveat here. I'll get to that in just a second. So Crested Butte is called the wildflower capital of Colorado, and that is not an exaggeration, but timing matters. Peak wildflower season is typically the 2nd to 3rd week of July, and it can be a very tight window. But this year, this is the caveat that I mentioned, this spring really arrived early and so did summer. So warmer temperatures have already moved through. We are seeing the bloom come earlier than usual. So if you're planning on visiting around the wildflower season, you wanna keep an eye out and don't lock yourself into too late of July, assuming you've missed it. So it really just depends on the season and the time of year. So you really wanna hone in on this pretty early. The East River Corridor, the trails around town, and Gothic Road towards Rocky Mountain Biological Laboratory, all of that is absolutely stunning. People drive hours just to see it. So if you live here You want to get out and see this pretty early in the day or late in the evening to avoid the crowds. And it really never gets old, regardless of the time of year that you're out there. Number 5, CV South is one of the valley's best kept secrets. Everyone knows about downtown Crested Butte. They know about Mount Crested Butte. Those are 2 names that come up regularly in real estate searches. The Crested Butte South, or CV South as the locals call it, is a neighborhood 7 miles south of town that most people overlook. It's quieter, it's more affordable, you get mountain views, you have quick access to trails without the downtown price tag. And it has a real neighborhood feel. Dogs, kids, and people who have been there for years. So if you're trying to figure out how to make the numbers work and actually live here, CV South is where I tell people to look. Number 6 is learn to read mountain weather. Weather here does not follow any of the rules that you're used to. It can be sunny and 70 at 10 a.m. and then it can be snowing or hail at 2 p.m. All of this can happen at any time of the year. It happens regularly, especially in the summer. We do have afternoon thunderstorms and it's very common. So if you're hiking above tree line, you want to head back down by noon or 1 o'clock at the latest. Locals watch the sky constantly. They check the forecast, but they also know to look all around them. When they start to see these big dark clouds building over the mountains, you want to wrap things up quickly. So the faster you tune into that mountain weather and its patterns, the more you're going to enjoy time outside and the safer you're going to be. All right, Almont is one of the areas that the locals treasure. This is halfway in between Crested Butte and Gunnison along 135. There's a stretch of rivers that locals love. The East and the Taylors come together and form the Gunnison. If you drive up to the Taylor Canyon, you have dramatic canyon walls, the Taylor River running through it, and some of the best trout fishing in the state. It is outstanding. You have brown trout, you have rainbow trout, and it's the kind of water that makes fly fishermen genuinely emotional. So even if you're not a fisherman, driving that stretch, or you can whitewater kayak or whitewater raft it, and that stretch is just so beautiful at any time of year. Number 8, community is the real currency here. This one is harder to put a number on, but it might be the most important thing that I can tell you. Crested Butte is a small town. Within a couple of weeks, you're gonna start to recognize people at the grocery store, and within a couple of months, people are gonna know your name. On the flip side, people notice when you show up, and they notice when you don't. But that also means when something is happening, you need help, when your pipes freeze, when you're stuck in your driveway, or you're just going through something, people show up. That community piece is something that people who live in cities their whole lives are not always prepared for, and ends up being one of the biggest reasons people move here, say that they're never going to leave. All right, number 9 is my personal favorite, and this is Gothic Road. So Gothic in the summer is amazing. So it is a dirt road that heads north out of Mount Crested Butte towards the Rocky Mountain Biological Laboratory and eventually to Schofield Pass. It's one of the most spectacular drives and has a great mountain biking out that way as well. So if you're going up into the high Alpine Valley, you're going to be surrounded by peaks on all sides. The wildflowers are unreal. You're going to see tons of wildlife, deer, elk, marmots, the occasional bear. It's just incredible, and it never, not once, gets old. Hopefully this gave you more of the real Crested Butte beyond the postcard version. This place is special for so many reasons, and it takes some time to discover, and I promise you, the longer you're here, the more you're going to find and discover. So if you're thinking about making a move to Crested Butte, Gunnison, or anywhere in the valley or any of the surrounding areas, I would love to help. And if that is in 60 days from now or 6 months from now, you're moving across the world, up and down the valley, feel free to give me a call, text, or email. All of my contact information is in the description below, and I'd love to make your move everything that you want it to be. And if there's another part of the valley or topic that you'd love for me to cover next, let me know in the comments below. I read every single one of them. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Okay, so it looks like you're making a move to Crested Butte or Gunnison, Colorado, and you're trying to decide which video to watch. You could watch this one, or you could watch this one, or you could watch both because they're both really going to help you out and they're both really good. But go ahead, just pick one.